Good morning. Today we are going to discuss about the mental element in torts. That day in the previous lecture we have seen elements of tort. One of the element was the wrongful act. The second was damage, that is a legal injury, and the third is remedy. These are the three general elements in tort. Now we are going to see about the mental element in torts. Means whether mental element is essential in tort or not. We will discuss two mental elements, that is malice and intention. Malice means motive. Malice is a very slippery word, you can say. Whether it is essential or not, that we have to see. Now, bad motive and malice are one and the same. In tort, malice is not required. Motive is not required. A lawful act will not become unlawful only because malice or bad motive is there. I'll repeat my sentence. A lawful act will not become unlawful or a tort only because a bad motive is there or malice is there. See, in the case of Gloucester Grammar School case, I told you what was there. The person had his own school, which was a very flourishing school, and his rival, with a bad motive to reduce the admissions in Gloucester School, he established another school there. He was not having any objective like to give education to students and all. He was having only a malice in his mind that his rival, that is Gloucester, should not get good admissions hereafter. Therefore, he opened a new school with a bad motive, with a malice. However, it is not a tort because fair competition is allowed. It is a legal right of each and every person. Therefore, a lawful act will not become unlawful or a tort only because malice is there. Got it? So, it may be bad motive. It may be good motive. It will not have effect upon tort. Malice or motive, though it is present, a lawful act will always remain as a lawful. So, malice is not required in tort. However, there are certain exceptions. See, when you study law, you have to take into first in your mind that law is a general rule and there will be many exceptions to it. Therefore, many a times we say that exceptions make a law. You can say one general rule will be there and 10, 15 exceptions will be there. Exceptions make the law. So, malice is not required. Motive is not required in tort. However, in certain torts it is required, that is defamation and malicious prosecution. In the further lectures, we are going to discuss about what is malicious prosecution and also about defamation. At this point, you consider that defamation is a tort, malicious prosecution is a tort, and in that tort, malice is an essential element. Motive is an essential element. But in other torts, malice is not required. Motive is not required. To understand, you take that case, Gloucester Grammar School case. In Gloucester Grammar, though malice was there, it was not a tort. So, this is the first mental element in tort, that is malice. Okay. Now, malice can be divided further as malice in fact and malice in law. Now, malice in fact, it means animosity, ill will. A person is having animosity, like in Gloucester Grammar, he had an animosity against Gloucester. So, this is called as malice in fact. You can see clearly. Sometimes some people also, like we come to a conclusion, why he is behaving like that, whether he is his enemy. So you can see the animosity of a person, the ill will of a person, or a spite of a person. That is called as malice in fact. Malice in law. Malice in law means where you are not having justification. Whenever you do anything, what law considers, you do anything, but you should be in a position to explain that why you did it. If you are having a good reason, maybe it is not a wrong. So if I do something and I give proper justification which are accepted by law, then that may not be a wrong. You may be in a proper position. That is malice in law. If you are not having proper justifications for whatever you did, it is malice in law. And when directly it can be seen, the animosity can be seen, that is called as malice in fact. Whatever type of malice is there, malice is not required, motive is not required in tort. However, sometimes it is required. Motive may be good, motive may be bad. It will not be seen in tort unless there is a legal injury. That act itself is unlawful, it is malice and motive is not required. This is the first mental element. Now the second mental element is intention. Intention. When a person does something, he does with some intention. Now we have to see whether intention is required in tort or not. In crime, intention is required. It is a very essential element. Unless intention is there, it is not a crime. If intention is there, when a person does an act with intent, it becomes a crime. Now here we are discussing about tort, and we have to see whether really intention is required or not. So law of tort says intention not required. When a person does something, it is a legal injury and it causes a damage to the other person, it becomes a tort. Though you have an intention, you don't have an intention, law does not consider. So intention is not required again in tort. Malice is also not required, intention is also not required. We'll take one case. That case is called as Quilly versus Swan, or it is called also as a balloonist case. A person was flying with a balloon. Imagine in the sky a balloon is going, and with that a person is there. Now many people, what they do, they see that person flying and they want to ask him what he is feeling. So they are coming with the balloon. The balloon is flying from above, the people are coming, going further on the ground. What happens? The balloon descends, the balloon comes down at the plaintiff's garden. And so the mob also, what it does, it enters into the garden and it causes damage to the garden. Therefore, the plaintiff, that is the owner of the garden, has filed a case against the balloonist. Now what the balloonist is telling, see, I was not having any intention, I was doing my fun and frolic, I took the balloon and I was flying for myself. I had no intention to cause damage to you. I had no intention, and really he was not having any intention, he was just wanted his own fun. But the people came, the crowd came and caused damage to the plaintiff. What law says here? Though you are having intention or you are not having intention, we are not going to consider, because your act has caused damage to the plaintiff. Whenever a person does something, he has to first consider that what will be the repercussions, what will be the consequences. So when you fly with the balloon, you should have considered what the other people would do. So you may not have an intention. Really, we also consider that you're not having intention. But what about the damage caused to the plaintiff? Therefore, whatever damage is caused to the plaintiff, the defendant was made liable, not only the loss caused by his balloon, but also for the loss caused by the crowd. So, intention again is not required in tort. Today we have just seen about two elements, mental elements in tort. Some further aspects are also there related to mental elements that we will see in the next lecture. Okay, bye bye. See you in the next video.